And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, producing podcasts throughout the week. But we are only live on Mondays, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show so you guys can get notifications when we go live and post new content. We talk about all things wrestling, even the conspiracy theories. We talk about superstar wrestler like inactive statuses, injury updates, contract negotiations, new signings and extensions. We talk about promotions from New Japan Professional Wrestling to the NWA, TNA to Ring of Honor, WWE to Stardom. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show 1010%. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into our next segment. We have who's going to be immortalized, who's going to join the Hall of Fame class, WWE 2025. We already have we have four. We have four out. Two of them that I have at the end of this segment. But make sure you guys comment, tip, and donate when you guys are tuning into the show live. So we love a lot of interaction from the fans and stuff like that. All right, so we got our WWE Hall of Fame, which is usually around the time WrestleMania is. It's a nice little thing, nice little gesture for the fans, for the WWE wrestlers, also for those who are being inducted. You watch the Hall of Fame ceremony. I know a lot of people who don't watch it, but you know what? I find it quite entertaining, actually, sometimes. I think it's pretty cool to find out some legacies. Obviously, if you're like a student of the game, or if you just want to find out more about professional wrestling, you've look up to those who have done it all before. And, last year's class was pretty damn awesome, but this year's class looking like it's going to be even better. First and foremost, obviously, you guys know who's headlining it. It is the Game, the Cerebral Assassin, Triple H, D-Generation X, Evolution, the Authority. This man has literally done it all. If anybody could take over WWE and act as CEO in charge of basically all the bookings, all the storylines, where the wrestlers are going to do this. It's someone who's, grown throughout the entertainment business in terms of professional wrestling. Someone who literally started from the bottom. Now he's here. Literally. He's kicking ass and taking names. He's pedigreeing the competition. So can't help but to be absolutely thrilled that Triple H, one of my favorite wrestlers, he is on my Mount Rushmore of professional wrestlers. So congratulations to Triple H. Also, we have Michelle McCool. I don't hate it. Two-time Women's World Champion. Two-time WWE Women's Champion, two-time Divas Champion. Back during professional wrestling where women were basically, itching and inclined to and scratching their way to get some television time. This girl was actually, producing some pretty good matches. Producing some pretty good matches. She was, I think wasn't she part of the Diva Search? I think she was. Obviously, her husband, Mark Calloway, a WWE Hall of Famer in and himself. It was kind of cool to see how they, basically inducted her. It was, it was pretty badass. Happy for Triple H, happy for Michelle McCool. But a name that ultimately kind of shocks me that he has not been inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame yet. I got King Kong Bundy. King Kong Bundy, one of the biggest heels in his era. NWA American Heavyweight Champion, NWA National Tag Team Champion, NWA New York Heavyweight Champion. He was one of the biggest names in the Heenan family. Never won any titles in WWE, but he was good. He was very, very good. He was exactly what, at that time in the era, he's exactly what they needed. They needed a big, strong guy who can absolutely demolish anybody and everybody in his path. He just, he's the unstoppable heel. The unstoppable heel. What is it? The irresistible force meets the immovable object. Obviously, that's alluding to Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. But this was kind of like, like, I don't want to say part two because, that sounds a little, not appreciating Andre the Giant, who was actually the first ever WWE Hall of Fame entrant. But I'm surprised King Kong Bundy hasn't been inducted yet. But, we'll see maybe along the lines. Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock was the first MMA fighter to to kind of introduce. Well, he paved the way. He paved the way. He made it possible for MMA fighters to be like, oh, you know what? I do love combat sports. WWE. A lot of MMA fans are actually WWE fans, and that's that's kind of cool. Ken Shamrock, he was the first to ever do it. Wasn't he the most dangerous man? I remember he took that chair shot from Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I feel like that was the main reason why they ultimately started banning chair shots. But Ken Shamrock was pretty cool. He was. I remember him coming up in WWE. He was pretty badass. Like I said, the first MMA fighter in 2024. He signed a Legends contract, and he hasn't been on WWE since. Sorry. Excuse me. He hasn't been on WWE since 1999. So, maybe this might be a way for like WWE to be like, all right. He has a Legends contract. He'd be pretty cool to sign. He'd be pretty cool to have in the WWE Hall of Fame. Will he be inducted this year? Who knows? Next, we have Demolition. Demolition as well. Axe, Crush, and Smash. 1987, obviously. They had a 478 World Tag Team title reign. And, if you have the Funks, if you have the Von Erichs, the Road Warriors, and the Bushwhackers, the Dudley Boys, the Steiner Brothers, and the US Express already in the WWE Hall of Fame, you can't help but to induct these guys. These guys also just got signed to a WWE Legends contract. Also, I think there was speculation. I saw reports that they were on bad terms with WWE. Maybe that's the reason why they were never inducted. But as of right now, it seems like they're in good terms. I bet they're going to be pretty damn soon. Next, I got Fit Finlay. I love Fit Finlay, man. He definitely did not an immense amount of accomplishments. He was a WCW World Television Champion, WWE United States Champion. The best thing about Fit Finlay was that he was, he's been around professional wrestling since the 70s. He's helped elevate talent. That's something he's done. And the most important thing about him, and it's super, super cool, he helped train a lot of women, because, back then, it was all about the males. The males were literally, they had about 95% of the television time. And Fit Finlay was actually training these girls behind the scenes to produce great matches when, WWE at that time, they were like, they basically told Fit Finlay, hey, man, what are you doing? This isn't what we want these kind of women ultimately for. Of course, that was back in the day with like the bra and panty matches, the mud matches, the fulfill your fan, it was wild. It was wild. Fit Finlay was backstage and he saw more to these girls than just a pretty face. So, it would be kind of cool to see Fit Finlay in the Hall of Fame. Next, I have Victoria. Victoria was a very dominant woman in professional wrestling. Also, she was a good woman. She was a great champion pre-WWE Women's Evolution. She's a two-time WWE Women's Champion, and she's a TNA Knockouts World Champion. So, obviously with this new deal with, TNA, WWE, you might be seeing a lot of familiar faces that, went from WWE to TNA or vice versa. But I would like to see Victoria, because Victoria was there, with Lita, Trish Stratus, and furthermore, there were, with Melina, Candice Michelle, Tori Wilson. You've seen, this girl was literally in professional wrestling. WCW, this girl also studied medicine at Loma Linda University. So she was like, she was studying, she was studying to be like a doctor. She was a wasn't a physical therapist. She was conditioning coach. No, that wasn't it. Dang it. She did something in terms of like biological studies, because she was studying biology, and she was, I believe she wanted to become like a physical therapist or something like that. That's what I'm sticking with. I should probably fact check that, but either way, super cool, 1,010%. I would love to see Victoria be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, but will it happen? Like I said, we got 2 more spots open, maybe even 1. So yeah, next we have Mickie James. I love Mickie James. During her time with WWE. Her feud with Trish Stratus, I thought that it was the greatest. It was pretty cool. She was an obsessed fan. Then it turned into like this weird, awkward, like overbearing relationship for Trish. Then it turned into this infatuation and love. Like, it was so crazy. And Mickie James and Trish Stratus really did an amazing job having these fans be invested into it, because still to this day I'm like, it was funny, but at the same time it was edgy. But at the same time, these women went out there and they sometimes beat the holy hell out of each other. They had great chemistry, where they could ultimately team and put on great tag team matches together. With Mickie James, you always got a good product, and I know she's married to the WWE SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis, who probably, in a couple years, he might find himself in the WWE Hall of Fame. But, Mickie James, I feel like she's great. She's an advocate for professional wrestling, for women. She's on WWE LFG. She's a former WWE Women's Champion 5-time. She's a Divas Champion. She's also a TNA Knockouts Champion. She also helps in OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling. So, wouldn't have surprised me if you see her being the next one to be inducted. Next, I got William Regal. William Regal, much like Finlay, helped a lot of professional wrestlings obviously start in NXT. He's a WCW World Television Championship holder, Intercontinental Champion, European Hardcore. He's been part of the World Tag Team title holder as well. King of the Ring winner in 2008. And right now he's a current VP of Global Talent Development. So, William Regal, he looks like he's also there as well. And a couple of people that I hope, but most likely probably won't get inducted. Bray Wyatt. I feel like Bray Wyatt, he deserves to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Not since Mick Foley have you had a man to kind of have multiple personalities, to kind of have people invested in not just his matches, but a lot of characters that he created on scene. Like, look at what's happening with the Wyatt Six family. With Mercy the Buzzard, the Abigail Witch, Ramblin' Rabbit, basically all the Wyatt Six, Uncle Howdy. Like, you have these characters that were created by Bray Wyatt, and his legacy will live on, and I feel like it will forever live on. He was, obviously Godspeed, thoughts, prayers, condolences to him and his loved ones. He is missed. Definitely one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He's, like I said, he's up there in terms of an eerie presence, kind of like The Undertaker, kind of like Kane, kind of like Mankind when he first started out before he became like a super baby face. But it was it was super cool, kind of like Sting in WCW once when he felt betrayed and he had the black and white paint. And he was like the Crow, and it was cool. It was pretty badass. But it'd be nice to see obviously his father or his uncle. I think his uncle and his father were both inducted last year by Bo Dallas. I could be wrong. Could have been the year before that. But I would love to see Bray Wyatt inducted. Sid Vicious, obviously, thoughts and prayers as well to him and his family. He passed away. Passed away last year. He was good in WWE, WWF. He's held a couple of titles. He went to WCW. He found a little bit of success, but he was like this. He was like a behemoth of a person. He fought Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was, I think at that time he was the good guy, and Sid, Sid was the overdog, the favorite. Shawn Michaels was the underdog, and just Sid Vicious being a part of any wrestling promotion, you kind of always had Sid. You always had Psycho Sid, so he was a presence in professional wrestling, and that'd be cool if he got inducted. Next, we have the Hardy Boys. Hardy Boys as well, with this new partnership between TNA and WWE NXT. Maybe they find themselves inside, the Hall of Fame class of 2025. I would love it. Personally, I wouldn't mind to see the Hardy Boys inducted. They have a match at Roadblock. I know Jeff is dying to come back to WWE to prove that he could, he can fight his demons, because he had, a lot of chances in WWE to kind of clean up his act and, control his substance abuse. And, it's not easy. Substance abuse, it's not that, easy to kind of, overcome and just be like, oh, I don't have it anymore. Bing, bang, boom. So obviously Jeff, his struggles but it'd be kind of cool to see these two inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Next, we have Rhino. Rhino recently being inducted to the TNA Hall of Fame. He's the first ECW wrestler once when he had that invasion with WCW to hold a WWF title. It was the Hardcore Championship, but still it was a championship. And Rhino has been a dominant presence inside the ring for forever. He was part of the glory days of TNA back in 2004, 2006. Rhino was there. He was also dominant in ECW, and when he came to WWE, he was just like, I don't know. I thought he was pretty sick. I thought he was pretty badass. Still to this day, the Gore has been speculated, voted from fans to be the most devastating spear. I don't know if any of you guys remember the Gore. But it was more than a spear. It was more than a spear. It wasn't Edge's spear. It wasn't a spear by Batista. It wasn't Moose's spear. It wasn't Roman Reigns. It wasn't Jey Uso. It was Rhino. Rhino would literally, oh my god, that gore, man. It was like the spear of all spears. And it'd be kind of cool to see Rhino be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Like I said, there are 2 new Hall of Fame inductees in 2025. We have the Natural Disasters, Earthquake, and Typhoon. Not really the most successful in terms of holding titles, but these 2 personalities, literally, when you think about a WWE, and when you used to watch wrestling back in that day, they were good. They were very, very good. I remember playing a couple of video games on Super Nintendo, Earthquake and Typhoon, and it was fun to tag team with my brother and be like, Earthquake and Typhoon, it's pretty cool. Next we have Lex Luger. Happy for Lex Luger. I watched the video of Cody Rhodes coming to I think it was Diamond Dallas's page. Like I think it was his I think he went to Lex Luger's. No, was it his house? No, I don't think it was. I think it was like a training facility or something like that. But congratulations to Lex. He had a lot of accomplishments in WCW. He was known in WWF/WWE. I remember that when he was seen at a WCW event, and everybody thought he was working on behalf of the WWE. But in reality, he went in there and he basically said, "Hey, I'm signing with WC," which wasn't really a good, sign for WWE at that point. At a low point, when WCW was actually kicking ass. But, Lex Luger as well, pretty badass. So congratulations to the Hall of Fame inductees, Lex Luger, Triple H, Michelle McCool, and the Natural Disasters, Earthquake, and Typhoon, who will be the next one inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Give you guys a couple of options there. Obviously, if you do agree with me, hit up in the comments. And, hopefully we'll see them, immortalized and, around WrestleMania. So, yeah, hopefully it works out. All right, guys, so hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our last segment. I have the Lucha Brothers. I have Rey Fenix recently being allowed to get out of his AEW contract. He's going to join his brother Penta on WWE Monday Night Raw, and I feel like the Lucha Brothers are going to save the Raw Tag Team division because as of right now, it's pretty trash. Being polite, it's pretty trash. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.